offers her body to stay at a stranger's house.
Hey, it's Rem with another anime recap. Yoshida had a dinner date with the girl he has been dreaming about. During the date, he was caught up in a staring contest with her chest, and Eri expressed her gratitude for the lovely evening. Yoshida finally gathered the courage to ask her to be his girlfriend, but unfortunately, she politely declined, stating that she has already been in a relationship for 5 years. Feeling rejected, Yoshida spent time with his friend, expressing his frustration and wishing that Ari had said something about her relationship earlier. As the night grew late, Yoshida's friend decided to head home, leaving him to walk home alone, feeling angry and upset with Eri. As he strolls along, Yoshida spots a girl sitting beneath a street lamp and wonders why she's out at such a late hour. Concerned for her safety, he approaches her and inquires about what she's doing. He suggests that she should go home, but the girl responds that there are no more trains running. Yoshida is surprised and asks if she intends to stay there all night. The girl smiles and suggests that she could stay at his place. She addresses him as Mr. and asks him what kind of girl would stay at a stranger's place. She then reveals that she has nowhere else to go and no money to pay for accommodation. Yoshida is taken aback by her proposition and asks if he's expected to let her stay for free. To his surprise, the girl offers to have sex with him in exchange for a place to stay. Yoshida is alarmed by her words and wonders if all girls these days are like this. He eventually realizes that she's just a peculiar individual and firmly tells her not to make such jokes. The girl insists that Yoshida should let her stay for free, despite the state of his filthy apartment. Yoshida feels that it's not his problem to learn about her and plans to kick her out the next morning. He goes to bed and allows her to do as she pleases. However, she starts to undress and asks if he wants to do anything with her. Yoshida refuses and tells her that he's attracted to older women. The girl then asks if she can do anything for him, to which he responds by requesting miso soup made by a woman. Yoshida dozes off, leaving the girl alone with her thoughts. The next morning, Yoshida awakens and panics, thinking that he's late for work, only to remember that it's a Sunday. He smells something cooking and hears the girl greeting him with a cheerful, "Good morning." Yoshida wakes up confused and doesn't remember what happened the previous night. He questions why a high school girl is in his house, but she reminds him that he had agreed to let her stay. Yoshida is initially skeptical of her claim, but she insists that he did indeed agree to it. Worried that he may have done something inappropriate, Yoshida asks if he did anything to her. The girl stares at him, causing him to feel uneasy, but she assures him that she's just joking. She tells him that he refused to engage in any sexual activity with her, which he's relieved to hear. She then prepares miso soup for him, but Yoshida warns her not to make soup at a stranger's house. The girl points out that he was the one who asked for it and continues to call him Mr. Irritated by her nickname, Yoshida tells her to stop and asks her to leave. She questions if he really doesn't remember anything from the previous night, but Yoshida is still puzzled. As his memories start to return, he recalls her presence. The girl then asks for his name, and Yoshida introduces himself. She comments that he looks like a Yoshida and urges him to eat the soup she prepared. Irritated by her bossy behavior, Yoshida tells her not to tell him what to do. As Yoshida eats the miso soup, he realizes that it tastes good. The girl next to him asks if he would have preferred Eri to make it instead. Yoshida wonders how she knows Ari, and she reveals that he was saying her name in his sleep last night. Yoshida is taken aback and tells her that he doesn't need her to make him feel better. However, the girl begins to undress, revealing that she has large breasts. Yoshida is shocked and compares them to Eri's, which he thinks are even bigger. The girl asks him what cup size Eri is, and Yoshida tells her that they're F cups. She boasts that hers are also F cups, and adds that Eri's might be a G or H cup. Yoshida wishes he could have felt those H cups just once, but the girl interrupts his thoughts by asking if he wants to feel hers. Yoshida asks her why she's trying to seduce him. Sayu asks Yoshida why he keeps refusing her advances and wonders if he's the abnormal one because no man has ever turned her down before. Yoshida grabs her and demands to know her name. Sayu reveals her real name and shows him her student ID, which indicates that she's from a distant location. Yoshida asks when she left home, and Sayu confesses that she's been gone for 6 months. She believes her family is better off without her. Yoshida questions how she plans to survive without going home or to school, and Sayu replies that she'll figure something out, like finding another place to stay. He suggests that she should work instead. After she tells him that she can't afford rent with just a part-time job, he offers to let her live with him. He stands up and says he'll knock some sense into her, calling her a brat who doesn't understand the value of things. She starts crying, and he wonders why she can't have a normal life and love like other teenagers. He decides to make her do the chores around the apartment as her first job. She comments that it sounds like she can stay with him forever, but he clarifies that she can only stay until she figures out what she wants to do. Yoshida thinks that this arrangement is better than letting Sayu continue to wander around and possibly fall into dangerous situations. However, he knows he needs to be cautious with his words so that she doesn't get too comfortable with the situation. He makes it clear to her that she can only stay until she stops behaving like a brat, and warns her that if she tries to seduce him again, he'll have no choice but to kick her out. She agrees to his conditions, and so begins a new chapter in their lives. At his workplace, Yoshida confides in his friend about what happened after he left home. His friend cautions him about the potential risks of the situation. As Yoshida returns home, he worries about whether or not Sayu has eaten anything. He remembers his friend's advice about not getting too attached to her. Upon arriving home, he finds Sayu preparing food, and she greets him with the words, "Welcome home, Daddy." He expresses his disgust at the comment and hands her the bento he bought for her. He notices that she has ironed all of his clothes, and he thinks to himself that she is good at doing chores. When he asks her where the ashtray is, she gives it to him, washed. After stepping out to smoke, Sayu questions why Yoshida doesn't smoke inside. He responds that it's because she's there, to which she calls him nice. However, Yoshida gets frustrated, asking why she's basing her values on those other guys. He tries to explain that he's not nice, but rather the other guys were just bad, and that she should have higher standards for herself. Sayu says that she understands, but Yoshida can't help but wonder why he's the only one taking care of her like a guardian. He reflects on how the world is full of awful people, including himself for providing her with a place to stay and enabling her to run away. He's unsure of what he should do next. The next morning, Yoshida hears Sayu in pain and finds out that she has been wearing the same clothes every day. Sayu tells him that it's the only thing she has. Feeling sympathetic, Yoshida decides to take her to a mall to buy her new clothes and a new mattress, since she wakes up in pain every morning. Sayu tries to refuse, saying that she won't know how to repay him. However, Yoshida realizes that she's not being modest, but instead is hesitant because she cannot repay him. He wonders why a child would think like that, and tells her that doing chores for him is enough of a repayment. Sayu agrees, and Yoshida feels that this should be enough of a reason. After sleeping on her new mattress, Sayu expresses her satisfaction with it, and asks Yoshida if he wants to sleep with her, with a teasing smirk. However, she quickly assures him that she wasn't being weird, and that he's the one with dirty thoughts. Yoshida finds her laughter endearing, and she thanks him for everything. The next day, his friend tells him about a rumor that Yoshida has a new girlfriend, because he seems cleaner, better dressed, and goes home early. Yoshida thinks that Sayu isn't his type, but acknowledges that she's cute and responsible. He wonders why she left her home and came all the way to Tokyo. The following day, Sayu asks Yoshida why he doesn't shave his facial hair, and he replies that he's lazy. She wonders why he doesn't shave it more often, and he explains that he only shaves it when it gets too long because it makes him feel old. He says that being too lazy to shave is a sign of getting old, but Sayu disagrees and tells him that his facial hair doesn't look good on him. Yoshida looks at himself in the mirror and decides to shave his facial hair. During their mall trip, Yoshida purchases more things for Sayu and inquires if she owns a phone. Sayu admits that she doesn't have one and confesses that she threw her old phone into the ocean. Yoshida chides her for such a foolish act and suggests that she should get a phone so that he can contact her. Sayu argues that she doesn't really need one since he already got her moisturizer, but he notices that her smile seems insincere and wonders if it's genuine. After returning from the mall, Yoshida tells Sayu that he plans to read the books he bought on the weekends, but he also offers her the chance to read them without spoiling them for him. However, he notices that she looks sad and is about to ask him why he is so, but stops herself and claims it's nothing. When he urges her to speak up, she starts fake laughing. Yoshida realizes that she's forcing herself to smile and tells her to stop. He reminds her that although it may not be her home, she's allowed to live there and doesn't need to act strangely or fake her smiles. She approaches him and admits that she was going to ask why he's so kind and that he's the kindest person she's ever met. She adds that if he wants her to stop acting weird, she will try to do so. She explains that her fake smiles have become a habit for her, but she'll do her best to stop. He reassures her that she can take her time and she thinks he's really kind. She confesses that no one has ever given her this much freedom or choices before, and she wants to make him happy that she came into his life. He chuckles and compliments her for being kind as well, and he's looking forward to her cooking and expects great food. She promises not to let him down. During work, he summons Mishima to inform her that their project's code has bugs and cannot be sold. He explains that they will need to work overtime together to fix it. Airi observes their conversation. They spend the entire night working on the project, and Yoshida brings Mishima food. She asks him about how he has been shaving his beard every day. He wonders why she's asking, and she mentions the rumors about him having a girlfriend. He denies the rumors and admits that he was recently rejected by Airi. Mishima offers him words of encouragement, but he declines any pity. She reassures him that she genuinely feels lucky to be his friend and suggests they go out for drinks soon. Upon arriving home late, Sayu expresses her frustration to him for being tardy and even having food prepared for him. He apologizes for the delay, but she just chuckles and reveals that she was only joking. Although he tells her not to tease him, she finds it amusing how he apologized so formally and suggests that he eats the food the next day. He realizes the need to find a way to contact her if he's running late. At the phone store, Yoshida's friend suggests that he should have asked Sayu what color phone she would prefer. Yoshida responds that Sayu would have likely refused if he had asked, so he decided to buy it without her input. His friend notes that Yoshida must really like Sayu since he is putting so much effort into choosing the design. Yoshida explains that because Sayu is a girl, she would care about the design of the phone. His friend points out that this means Yoshida cares about her happiness and advises him to be careful in his interactions with her. He warns Yoshida that Sayu might develop feelings for him or vice versa, and Yoshida assures him that it's impossible because he prefers older women with larger breasts. His friend laughs and suggests that Yoshida choose a safe color like black or white. At the workplace, Yoshida appears restless and keeps checking the time, but his friend advises him to stay calm since they'll only end up working late if he doesn't. Later on, Airi approaches him and asks if they can talk at a later time. His friend jokes that when she rejects him, that's when their relationship will truly begin. Yoshida enjoys his dinner with Airi and finds himself once again looking at her chest. Despite feeling nervous, he manages to build up the courage to speak, but ends up choking on his words. Airi suggests they relax by playing a game where they take turns asking each other questions that must be answered truthfully. During their dinner, Yoshida asks Airi why she invited him there. In response, Airi asks if he's dating someone, but he denies it. Airi calls him out on his lie, pointing out that in the 5 years she's known him, he's always looked tired and never went home early. However, recently, he's been leaving work early, shaving facial hair, and taking care of his appearance. She then asks him if he's been getting close with Mishima, but Yoshida tries to clarify things. He confesses that he's been working with Mishima for 5 years, but has only had feelings for Airi. He tells her that she's always been special to him, and he still feels the same way. Yoshida questions why Airi even cares about whether or not he has a girlfriend, given that she rejected him before. He believes that if she truly didn't like him, she wouldn't be bothered by his relationship status. When Airi tries to offer an excuse, he sees right through it and presses her for the real reason she invited him to dinner. After some hesitation, Airi admits that it's important, but Yoshida's hopes are dashed when she allows him only one more question. Summoning all his courage, Yoshida asks Airi about her breast size, and she leans in to reveal that she's an I cup. As he heads home that night, Yoshida is convinced that Airi is not interested in him romantically. When Yoshida arrives home, Sayu notices that he looks sad and asks him about it. At first, he doesn't want to tell her, but eventually he confesses that he had dinner with Airi. Sayu asks him if it was fun, but he admits that it wasn't. She offers him a hug, which he accepts, and admits that it makes him feel better. Sayu then suggests that he take a shower to wash away any negative feelings, apart from him also smelling awful. Yoshida feels ashamed that he's seeking comfort from Sayu. As he sips his miso soup, he pulls out a gift from his bag and presents it to Sayu. She unwraps it to find a new phone, and she's surprised as to why he bought it for her. Yoshida admits that it's because he wants to be able to reach her when she's out. Sayu thanks him and asks if she can really have it. She notices that he also got her a white phone case, and she mentions that she likes the color white. Yoshida is pleased to hear that, and they proceed to add each other's contact information to their phones. Despite his friend's warning that he might fall for her, Yoshida still believes that he only sees Sayu as a young girl he needs to look after. Sayu notes that Yoshida is her only friend, and labels his contact as Yoshida-man, giving him a
Yoshida-man.
warm smile. Yoshida ponders about Sayu's genuine smile and realizes that he doesn't quite comprehend teenagers. Meanwhile, Sayu wakes up from a dream about her past sexual encounters with strangers and looks at Yoshida, wondering why he doesn't want to do it with her. Yoshida goes to work and sits with Mishima, where a colleague approaches him and questions why he declined a business trip. The colleague assumes it's because Yoshida has a girlfriend, and Mishima jumps in and asks if Yoshida is indeed in a relationship. He tells them that he is expecting a package to arrive in the next 2 weeks. His friend leaves him alone, and Mishima kicks him for no reason. Later, Mishima asks Yoshida if he would like to go to the movies with her, and although he initially didn't want to, Yoshida decides to use it as an opportunity to teach Airi a lesson for rejecting him. At home, Sayu worries about how long she can stay with Yoshida. She knows that when he finds a girlfriend, he will likely kick her out just like all the other men she stayed with before. She worries that he will do it with his girlfriend. Upon receiving a message from Yoshida, he says he will be going to the movies with Mishima. When the movie finishes, Yoshida mentions a quote from the professor, expressing the idea that encounters only feel fated after they happen. Mishima engages in philosophical conversation with Yoshida, while Sayu begins running away again. Yoshida asks Mishima if she has ever had a fated encounter, and she tells him she has, which leads to an awkward moment between them. Mishima hugs Yoshida, causing Sayu to feel sad and leave. Yoshida disentangles himself from Mishima and expresses his gratitude for coming with him to the movie. Mishima inquires what Yoshida would do if she were the person he is fated to meet, but Yoshida dismisses the idea as foolish and urges her to go home. As he walks back to his home, he wonders if his encounter with Sayu was destined by fate. Upon arriving home, he calls out to Sayu, but receives no response. Noticing that her phone is still at home, he becomes frantic and runs out to search for her, fearing that she may have been kidnapped. Meanwhile, Sayu wonders why Yoshida had that face with Mishima, a face he's never made when he's with Sayu. She starts crying, realizing that she is feeling jealous of someone she doesn't even know. What will happen to Sayu? If this video gets enough likes, I'll make a part.
Yo, that's crazy, man. I'm actually going to watch part 2, but hey, if you guys want part 2, make sure you leave comment down below, like this video. If this video does good, I'll keep on watching this, but I'm genuinely interested, so I might just watch it regardless, you know what I'm saying? But hey, love you guys, man. I'll see you guys in the next. Peace.